Hi everyone, Leanne here from Jaded Blossom, and it's time for our September 2023 release hop. Hey, so I'm using Jaded Blossom's Gnome dies. They're Halloween dies too. They're Halloween dies. They're Gnome dies Halloween Add Ons. They're Gnome dies Halloween Costume Add Ons 1. Our card mat dies. Our Build-A-Booth die. Our Gnome dies Sign Add Ons. I'm also using the brand new stamp set Candy Corn for Sale and Spooky Season. And I'm using Monster Madness 6-inch pad, the Monster Madness 12-inch pad, along with odds and ends from Booze and Brews. Okay, so I'm starting out with a piece of paper tray ink black cardstock, 4.25 by 11, scoring at 5.5 inches, with my Martha Stewart scoreboard and my Teflon bone folder. Working on my Stampin' Up! Pad as per usual. There we go. And I have that card mat die was cut out with Neenah Solar White 80-pound cardstock, and I'm adding that to the inside with some ATG tape. And you'll see that I have a piece of paper to my left there. That is cut from the 12-inch pad from Monster Madness at 1/8 of an inch smaller than an A2 size card front. So this is just a 1-inch strip from that Monster Madness pad, kind of like the rainbow look. There we go. And I'll trim off the overhang with a pair of scissors. You know, so easy peasy stuff. And I have these two little odds and ends, and they're from the Booze and Brews. Now, you can use whatever you like from the newer releases. I just had a couple of these lying around, so I thought I would use them. And they kind of went with my theme, right? So I'm popping those on the inside. Super cute stuff using Barely Art glue. Now, I just reinforced that fold. Now, I'm going to add that paper from the 12-inch Monster Madness pad. And it's just got that kind of teal all over stars. And I'm going to stick that down with some Barely Art glue. And like I said, it's just 1/8 of an inch smaller than an A2 size card front, which is kind of fun. There we go. And I will stick that down on the front of my card base. So I have loved this new release. It's been so much fun. If you're a Halloween person, you're going to love it. So now I'm going to put together one of these little gnomes. So I started out cutting it out with American Crafts black cardstock. Then the beard and mustache are cut from Smoky Shadow cardstock from Paper Tray Ink. And I'm inking around the edges with Close to My Heart White Daisy ink, which is just, a white pigment ink. Now his shoes were cut out of Paper Tray Ink black cardstock, and I'm going to edge around those as well. Just using a little finger dauber. And, easy stuff. You could use any white pigment ink. Now I'm going to stick down his cute little beard onto his shadow. Remember, with the boy gnomes, you always start with the beard. Makes it easy. There we go. Now his little hat was cut from the opposite side pattern, but the 6-inch pad. So it's got those little colored stars all over. And I'm going to pull colors for my card from that hat. Now I have Pick Your Poison. That was cut from Neenah Desert Storm 80-pound cardstock and P13 stamping pad skin tones, which Jaded Blossom sells. They are out of stock right now, but click the notifications for when they're back in stock. Now I did stamp in VersaFine Claire Nocturne ink onto Neenah Desert Storm, and I'm edging around the edges of them with Distress Oxide ink in Black Soot. Okay, so now I'm going to put together this little gnome. I like to overlap the hat just a tiny bit. And then I do pop up the nose with some Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. Just makes things easier. There we go. Perfect. And I will pop up his little feet or his little shoes with the same dimensionals. There we go. And, so he won't be barefoot this time, even though that's my favorite, right? I love the barefoot. Okay, so now I am sticking down this little sign. It says Pick Your Poison. That is from the, I think it's from the Candy Corn for Sale stamp set. Don't quote me. I use the Candy Corn for Sale and the Spooky Season stamp sets. So, just in case. So these are the Gnome Dies Sign Add Ons, which I think are perfect for this card. So there we go. Isn't that cute? So he's holding his little sign. There we go. So now I'm going to get this little booth together. So first of all, I cut out the Build-A-Booth and all the planks with Orchid cardstock from Doodlebug. And it's got a bit of a texture. And it's one of the colors in that little pattern hat that I chose. And I'm just inking around with that Distress Oxide ink. Just easy stuff. It doesn't have to be rocket science, right? And I'm going to arrange the boards a little bit differently. Remember, you can arrange these boards however you like, or you don't even have to use the boards. You could just cut out the booth. Whatever you want to do is fine. So I'm just inking all around the edges there. There we go. And it is super duper cute. And I like how the purple pops, and I love Halloween colors. You know, I love the orange, the purple, black, lime green, all those fun like Halloween colors. Okay, so now I'm going to stick down these planks with some Barely Art glue. I will line the big plank up on the top there. There we go. And then I will line up the other planks. Like I said, you can do this however you like. This is just how I'm doing it this time, right? There's no rhyme or reason. There's no wrong way. And I'm going to pop that bigger plank on the bottom. And then I'm going to put the thinner plank on the top. And then I will overlap the two little planks, and you'll see what I do there in just a minute. There we go. I'm just going to pop that on, so that the inking kind of makes it look a little bit distressed, right? Which is fun. So now I'm going to stick down the two short planks, and they overlap the other two planks just a little bit. And then I will overlap this other second plank on the other one and line up the little nail holes. And there we go. So there's another look for your little booth. I do weight it down. So now I did stamp that sentiment from the Spooky Season, or no, that is from, Spooky Season stamp set. And I cut it out using the Build-A-Booth little sign die. And I did cut the orchid cardstock 1/8 of an inch, larger than that piece. And I'm going to use that on the inside of my card there for my sentiment. I'm going to put that, fully over to the left-hand side. There we go. And I will kind of re-score that, or burnish, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so now I'm using this ATG tape and a little bit of glue. And I will stick down this booth on my background, and then I'll start building my little card. There we go. So I'm just sort of shooting for the center, the bottom center of this card base. And I will just sort of, get it lined up. And there you go. Kind of fun, right? And, so now I'm going to pop up the sentiment that says Trick or Treat. That I know is from the Candy Corn for Sale set. And I'm popping it up with 3M foam tape. And I kind of like to tilt that on the top. That's just kind of me. I kind of like to do that every time. Okay, and I'm going to have that little guy in the lower right. So now I'm going to put together this cute little bottle of poison, if a bottle of poison can be cute. And the pattern paper is from that Monster Madness 12-inch pad. The black and the white are paper tray ink black cardstock. That little tiny face, or the little tiny skull, that is from the Halloween Costume Add Ons 1. Here we go. And then I'm just lining up that other piece of black. So now I've got one little bottle of poison, and I will weight that down. And now I'll put together this one. I think this is Halloween Dies 2, and then Halloween Dies 1 was the other one, I think. There we go. That green pattern is from that Monster Madness 6-inch pad. And I'm using translucent vellum from Whirlwind. It's kind of like a really heavyweight vellum. I'm not sure if you can get Whirlwind anymore, but any heavyweight vellum will do. Because it gives it, like, it's opaque. You can sort of see through it, but not really. Okay, so now I am adding, this is the pink pattern. That is from that same 6-inch pad, Monster Madness, and that same translucent vellum. And I'm just adding on the little dots, little bubbles, using my Studio Katia embellishment wand. And there is a little tiny piece of black on the top of that one. There we go. And I will weight that down as well. There we go. And then this last one, I made one more of that bottle. That little bottle is actually from the Gnome Dies Halloween Add Ons. Your gnome can hold that bottle. And I did cut out that same pattern that's on the background, but in the 6-inch, so it has the little stars. There we go. And I will weight that one down after I add a couple more little droplets of like sort of looking like bubbles are going up, right? There we go. Oop, I'll weight those down. And now I'm going to add them to the front of my card. So I'm gluing just behind where the paper is and the droplets. So you can see how that vellum is just sort of, you can sort of see through it. I think it kind of looks like glass. There we are, and I'm going to overlap those two bottles. And then this kind of poison bottle will be in the lower left-hand corner of the booth. There. And then I will overlap this other one with the blue. And I will stick that one down as well. Kind of cute, right? I'm going to be popping up my gnome with some Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. So I'm just trying to figure out where he's going to go. And then I will cover it in. Oh, actually, I added the dimensionals. Sorry, I didn't show it to you on screen. Okay, so now I'm using the Barely Art glue, and I'm going to be adding a few more of these little bubbles in the matching colors of whatever paper that I used, right? Sort of recut out the bubbles and adding, adding them here and there just for a little bit of fun. I think it adds a little bit of interest. Now that spider, I believe, is from the Halloween Dies 1, and I cut that out of paper tray ink black cardstock, and I'm popping it up with some Stampin' Up! Dimensionals again, using my reverse tweezers. All my die cutting today was done with my Anna Griffin Empress machine, which is pretty awesome. Now these two little spiders, those are from the Gnome Dies Halloween Add Ons, and those are just cut out of black cardstock as well. And I will be popping those up. I'm trying to go for a visual triangle here, so I do move it around a bit. I decide to move that one up to that little green flask, and then I'll have this one on the right side of that little orange bottle. And there we go. So kind of fun, right? So now I am pulling out my Barely Art glue, and I'm pulling out my Studio Katia embellishment wand and the 3mm Google Eyes from Studio Katia. They're super tiny Google Eyes, and I'll be adding 2 to each spider, just to make them look a little bit more friendly, because, no one likes spiders. They're gross, right? I know they belong in our ecosystem and all that, but, not in my house. I don't really like spiders very much. Not a fan, but with Google Eyes at Halloween, that's okay. Okay, so now I'm pulling out my glossy accents, and I'm using Studio Katia's, what are they called? They're called clear round droplets. And I'm just going to add them to all the little bubbles because it gives them a little bit of shine. And at the same time, it really does make it look like little bubbles. So I really like to use these as embellishments. They're lots of fun. There we go. And I'm just picking them up. You really need one of these embellishment wands because you cannot pick up those little round droplets worth a darn with your fingers. It's too tricky. Okay, so now I'm adding on all the rest of the droplets to where my glossy accent drops are. I like to use glossy accents when I'm gluing down clear items. I don't know. I know a lot of the glues dry clear, but at first they look milky, and I like to take pictures, and I don't want them to look milky, right? I want them to look clear, so that's why. And there we go. Isn't that cute? So thank you so much for stopping by. Be sure to stop on over to the Jaded Blossom blog. Get hopping. The Jaded Blossom store to get your hands on this release. It's amazing. Make sure you leave comments. You have a chance to win a stamp set of your choice for the blogs. And thank you as always for watching my videos. I really appreciate it. Make sure you're a follower over on our YouTube sites, Jaded Blossom's YouTube and Leanne K over on YouTube. Thank you so much, and we will see you soon. Bye, everybody.